we are back with Honey in the kitchen. Oh, you know I'm always dancing. No different than any other day. And we're back jamming one more time to Pat Metheny. Today, Pat's giving us the sweet sounds called Here to Stay. So, to that music, let's create one of my favorites and one that everyone keeps asking me to do, shrimp and grits. Bam! We're going to tie that in with the last episode, which was the cinnamon applesauce. Or you could have just made plain applesauce. But in our last episode, we made peach and applesauce. And I made it again today to sideline this dish. So what are we going to start out with? So let's start out with getting our pan ready, our pot, for the grits. We're going to cook stone ground grits in a little bit of salted water. You're going to season to taste. I put salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder in my water. Bring it to a boil with butter. And then I add a quarter cup of heavy cream and another quarter cup of milk. And then when it's almost done, that last 5 minutes, I mix in this cheddar cheese. And that's going to give us our cheddar cheese grits today, which will accompany our shrimp. And I Scampi style my shrimp, and we're going to learn all that today and have fun and have a great dinner to eat later on tonight. So you got rapid boiling water. We're going to add that butter. The more buttery it is, the better it tastes, more fattening it is also. We always know that. But we're going to add those 2 big pats. Mix that around so it's nice and dissolved. I've already added salt to the water. Now we're going to whisk in the stone ground grits. And it instantly cooks up, right? So now we want to start adding our other ingredients. I add that milk. And then that milk, even though we're putting in, I'm going to turn that down because it was on high. I'm turning it down to a low simmer. So even though we added the milk, and I'll use a quarter cup, we may need more. And now I'm going to add that heavy cream. And the heavy cream is what gives my grits that smooth texture that everyone talks about how good they are. That's why. So there's nothing about this that should be on a slim person's diet. Let's remember that, men and ladies. So I'm going to put the lid on this to let that simmer. Generally, grits, these are instant grits. You can use the ones that take 20 minutes, but these are instant grits, but I'm still not going to cook them instantly. I still slow simmer them. It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm probably going to have to add more milk. I'm not going to add those cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, until the last 5 minutes, but I've made this recipe with a variation of cheese. I've also done it with smoked Gouda. I've also done it with blue cheese. Absolutely fabulous if you're serving this with a grilled fish dish. This is for my good friend, Jason Noel. He loved shrimp and grits. So while this is cooking and simmering on low for 20 minutes, Pat is still grooving. We're going to come over here and make scampi. Scampi sauce is going to take about 5 minutes. You see how fast your meal can come together and be really gourmet? So in my scampi, I cut up peppers and onions, which I already did. Green and red, you can use whatever variation you would like to use. I'm also going to use red onion. I'm going to cut a few more so you can see the cutting. Garlic, a little lemon juice, and I also julienne some carrots in there. Butter, we're going to mix that with olive oil. That goes in our grits at the end. And here's the shrimp I'm going to put in there for today. All right, so let's finish cutting up our carrots. Some people may not like that, but I like to give it a little bit of vegetables. So we're cutting these carrots to be sticks. Not too thin, but there's about what we want on our carrots, okay? So I just cut up a few because right now I'm only going to make 4 extra jumbo. And then on our onions, cutting it the long way because I want them, cut that one more time, right? So you see these pretty colors in here? We're going to have purple, red, green, and the orange. So you see how all these pretty colors together is going to look gorgeous when we pour this over top of our grits, right? So you know I'm all about food looking good. So let's prepare our shrimp. So we have these jumbo shrimp. Of course, shrimp can be to the size you desire. But I'm butterflying them because when I finish scamping them, I want them to stand up like so on top of the grits, right? So I'm going to put those in there. And I have a mixture of seasoning. So my seasoning, some people like it spicy and hot. I have a spouse that does not care for spices like I do. So I have to go a little easy on the spices. So I don't have anything too hot in here. But other than that, I would have had ground hot pepper in here. So I have done my shrimp and they are now ready. They're butterfly, right? So over these shrimp, I'm going to squeeze a little lemon, because this is scampi after all. And in here is a mixture of garlic powder, black ground pepper, and then I purchased a very delicious gourmet seafood seasoning. I can't remember where I picked it up at, down in Maryland, but it is so good, and it's much better than Old Bay. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to save a little bit of it because I am going to use some of this seasoning in my pan for the peppers and onions. So while that sits, add a little bit of the wine. This is a Riesling wine. I'm making a small amount today, so I'm only using a 1/4 cup. I like Riesling wine. It's a dry, somewhat sweet wine, but it tastes very good in this recipe. Alright, so we're going to let that sit for a moment. It's marinating. It's seasoned shrimp with your wine and a little lemon juice. And while that's working its way through, we're going to check on our grits, which probably need a little bit more milk. And we're going to saute these vegetables and then bring it all together. So we've got our pan nice and hot. We've added oil. We're going to add the butter. As you can see, it's flying right on up. Right? And right in there, we're going to add these peppers and onions and the carrots. Lost one, casualty to war. We're not going to add that garlic yet because remember, it will burn. There's the balance of the seasoning. And we're going to start cooking that around. Alright? So you want to cook this first and make your scampi. And you remember, you can add anything you want in this pan, right? As you can see, I like a lot of vegetables because that's a lot of vegetables to just be 4 shrimp, right? But I love the taste of this. And of course, you could add more shrimp. But for today, I don't want to waste all those shrimp because I don't have a big shrimp family to eat with. It's really going to be me eating this because this isn't one of my husband's favorites. Isn't that a sin? Alright, so that's cooking down. We're going to add that lemon juice. And we're going to let that cook a few more moments. Allow that to be turned down to a medium flame. And now I'm going to add that wine. Ah, you need to smell that. Sorry you can't smell that through the lens. Put a piece of lemon in there to let it cook with that. So the longer you allow this to cook, of course you know your peppers and onions and carrots are going to be more tender. I like to chew mine. We're going to now scoop in that garlic. And I have a little bit more wine that I already had sitting that I just added. Turn that down just a little bit more because that's cooking too fast. I'm going to add a little parsley. Save a little bit of that parsley for the end. So that's what your sauce is going to look like. So that's butter and olive oil. Very simple. done with julienne vegetables, carrots, onions, peppers, and then some garlic, right? And we're going to let that simmer. Cover that, turn that while our sauce is simmering and we're still jamming the pat metheny. We're going to add our cheddar to the grits. Alright, so our grits, look at our consistency. See, not too thick, not very runny, right? Because it cooked low. Now we're adding it, oh, that's that. Lord have mercy. And we're going to whisk that around till it's completely blended and smooth. Once again, if you're counting calories, this meal is not on your menu. So there you go. There is your cheddar cheese grits, butter, heavy cream, milk, seasoning salt, water, stone ground grits, and cheddar cheese. I'm done with that. I'm going to let that. So we're back. Sauce is simmering. Oh, look how rich and delicious that looks. Woo! This is a wonderful dish for Sunday brunch. You can do shrimp and scallops and serve this with a batch of grits and some good challah bread French toast with caramelized bananas. Woo! That sounds like a Sunday in more heat. So I've turned that up to almost high, and I'm going to stand these shrimp up in this pan so they can cook butterfly. It's only going to take a few minutes. All right, let's put that sauce on top of it while they're cooking. I'm going to cover those. Allow them to do 2 minutes on each side. 2 minutes on one side. Now they're on that second side, looking absolutely fabulous. I just keep covering it with that sauce and all those peppers and onions so it can really work that flavor through. You don't want to overcook them because you'll have gummy shrimp. Okay? So they got another minute. Put the lid back on. Our grits are done. So we're jamming still the pat metheny. I wish you guys were here. You could smell this delicious fall smell in my house with this shrimp dish cooking in this wonderful wine sauce and our grits. So give me a minute and we're going to plate it up. So let's get this dinner on our plate. So I'm plating up our grits, as you can see what the consistency is, right? So we're going to plate that up. Put a drop there. And a drop there. Ladies, what a simple and easy quick dinner to make coming in the house. Gentlemen, you are fancy, showing the women what you're made of. So here's our shrimp. We're going to put that shrimp right on top of there. Put that shrimp right on top of there. Put a third one in the middle for beauty. And now let's plate up some of that sauce. Oh my goodness. Does that look good? I know your mouths are saying, where's she live at? I'm on my way there. Look at that good sauce. Look how beautiful that looks. Garnish that with a piece of lemon. Another piece of lemon in the middle. Let's take some parsley and throw that over there. I don't know about you, but I'm getting ready to enjoy my nice little fall dish. My shrimp and grits. Oh, we got a little casualty over there. Shrimp and grits. Cinnamon peach applesauce with my glass of Riesling. Thanks for sharing some time with Honey in the kitchen, and I look forward to seeing you again with another delicious fall meal.